Anything is possible. We know you have heard these words for much of your lives, but the potentials, possibilities, and probabilities are truly more limitless than ever before, for the consciousness on the planet is growing to a tipping point. The tipping point being that as enough people have risen in consciousness now, the planet can transition to its next evolutionary cycle, its next phase in the evolution as a species. So, you being here as a light, as a conduit of the divine, a healer, a light worker, a guide, a starseed, are here to be this frequency. August 2022. It is going to be such a big month. I am so excited to be sharing this channeled message from my guides with you. There's so much in store, and I received the message this morning, and I truly believe that this will activate you and attune you to a whole nother frequency if you choose for it to. Obviously, you have free will. You are in this co-creative experience, and so I just invite you to set the intention that this message that I'm going to be sharing really elevate your spirit and soul and attune you to your highest timeline, your highest frequency, your highest expansion, your greatest expression and embodiment in this lifetime. The energy is continuing to speed up, continuing to amplify. And when I received this message, I was just like so excited. I really don't even remember what they said, but again, it's a frequency. And we're going to be reading it back together as we always do. And all I know is that the frequency that came through was like, there's a really big amplification of energy right now. And what I feel just intuitively is that August is really, it's a really big tipping point. And I say this only because I see and hear a lot of astrological events are happening. And so obviously, as the cosmos shift, we humans who are of the cosmos, we too shift. So, of course, as our Mother Earth, the cosmos, the universe is going to expand and grow and speed up. We're going to feel this. And that's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing because we are stardust. We are nature. We are Mother Earth. And it's really leaning in that is going to facilitate this. I know that it feels like a lot. I find myself teetering back and forth of like, yes, I am so ready. And then like, whoa, like what is happening? I need a break, right? So it's the balancing and holding of both. And you can do it. You came here. Your soul signed up for this. So that's what I feel. I feel a lot is going to be shifting. I feel a lot of opportunities are going to be happening for people, a lot of opportunities dropping in to really just, for lack of a better phrasing, like literally just leave behind all of the BS, leaving behind all the stories, all of the things that are not serving you and that are holding you back from your highest expression and expansion and growth that you're seeking and desiring and that you've been asking for. Okay, that's reminding me as I'm saying that. They definitely touched upon that in the message of like, our manifestations are coming. They're coming. But it's like we had to get to the tipping point. So I think with all of that being said, we should just dive into the message. And then I will do a little debrief afterwards. So again, as with all channeled information, take what resonates, whatever doesn't, absolutely fine. And also remember, you drew this to you. This is your wisdom, your knowledge, your soul communicating to you. And I am simply the vessel, the conduit of divine source, which feels like such an honor. And so for that, I just thank you. Thank you for allowing me to share with you your wisdom, because this is, if you worked in energetic resonance with this would not be in your field. It just wouldn't. There are many people who this is not in their field and they will not hear this. And then those whose souls are seeking this frequency will receive it. So yes, I also invite you to set an intention that this elevate you and your experience. And yes, always remember, it is a frequency. So while the words are words, it is truly about the frequency that is transmitted. So I always invite you to listen again if you feel called, because there's layers to it all. And so I think that's all my disclaimer. So let's dive in. Come in to trust, peace, and soul spirit alignment. Come into being one with the divine. For it is in the oneness with your source, true nature, and eternal essence that you are filled with peace. No other external substance or source can provide you with the peace you seek, for you are not of those. You are of source. Thus, your replenishment lies in your one true source. Listen very carefully, dear ones. The energy is amplifying in a way that is truly unlike anything you've seen. Anything is possible. We know you have heard these words for much of your lives, but the potentials, possibilities, and probabilities are truly more limitless than ever before, for the consciousness on the planet is growing to a tipping point. The tipping point being that as enough people have risen in consciousness now, the planet can transition to its next evolutionary cycle, its next phase in the evolution as a species. So, you being here as a light, as a conduit of the divine, a healer, a light worker, a guide, a starseed, are here to be this frequency. For as you embody this new frequency, you radiate out this light to others. You become the change simply by being who you are. You facilitate in others' growth, expansion, and embodiment through your own cultivation and embodiment and the essence you radiate. Trust. There has been no greater time to trust. To trust that all you have asked for has been heard, all you have prayed for has been received, and all you have wished for is known. The manifestations of all your desires are weaving their way into the fabric of the new earth, which you are stepping into. For much of the manifestations, wishes, and prayers you have requested were not suitable in the old earth and destiny. Thus, it will be so much sweeter as you allow yourself into this next evolutionary phase. And so as you see these things coming to fruition, alignment, and into the physical material realm, we ask and request for you to receive them, to fully receive your wishes, for they have come to you. And they're not always going to come in the way you desire, but surely they will come. And as you fully receive them, make note. For as you remember that your wishes do come to you, you now have a tangible reminder for the days in which you slip back into the lower densities. Going back into the lower densities is not a bad thing. For here, it is where you are reminded of what you want, desire, and a place where you are able to pick up a barometer of what many of your fellow souls are experiencing. This gives you a gauge of how and where your efforts are needed. For we remind you, you are here not to do, but to be. And so as you see, sense, and feel where others are at, you now know and see what areas of your evolution you get to amplify so that your fellow brothers and sisters may rise and join you. For example, to see others struggle with money, show them how to confidently spend and receive the currency of all forms: money, love, joy, resources. To see others struggle in their relationships calls for you to amplify the essence, energy, and illumination of kindness, collaboration, co-creation, and joy with the people around you, sending the signal to their very selves that all relationships serve a divine purpose. And to see others struggle with their health, you now get to radiate out and amplify the essence and energy of pure divine perfection of the body vessel. For to amplify pure divine perfection of the body vessel does not mean that it is always perfect in your sense of the word. What it means is that it is always perfect, no matter its state. For every state of the body serves a purpose. Every state providing feedback, wisdom, and illumination for the spirit and soul to learn. There is nothing ever anything wrong with the body, the relationships, the money, or the state of anything at all. For it is all just an opportunity for you to come into deeper remembering of your true nature. All of these serve a beautiful catalyst to do so. And once you can see them as such, now you take your power back as you work alongside in harmonic resonance with the universe. Many will ask you to decide what you want, and many will tell you to surrender to the universe. So, which do you do? We encourage both. Decide, but hold lightly onto what this may look like for you. We invite you to decide on vibrational states, to decide to walk your soul's path, to decide to live in harmonic resonance with the divine, to decide to be a conduit of loving light for humanity. These wishes will bring you more manifestations than the ego, brain, and human self could ever conjure up on its own. For the brain knows not the true infinite nature of the universe. It simply cannot grasp the depths to which is available to it. So, when you cast a wider net, a grander plan may now unfold. We know many of you are past asking for shiny objects and material things, but we also remind you that these bring pleasure to the human experience. And so to remove any guilt of these human desires, and when you cast a grander net for these wishes, do not be surprised when not only these wishes are fulfilled, but so do you also receive material pleasures alongside. For as we spoke earlier, these things may be the tool in which you get to use to help raise the consciousness of your fellow brothers and sisters. And lastly, as this upcoming month unfolds in the vastness of expansion An entire new universe is being birthed through this. So when you feel off, disoriented, overwhelmed, or confused, simply call back your energy to your body vessel home. You are traveling and doing so much deep work during sleep and even during the day that if you feel tired, simply calling your energy back will give you the shot of espresso you desire and that you are needing. For the soul is always seeking expansion. But if you ever feel it is too much on the physical body, you get to make the decision to call back your energy. Allow all of these shifts to unfold for you. Allow your reality to upgrade. And allow all the manifestations you have wished and asked for to be made in the physical. Trust in your creatorship with the divine. Trust in yourself. Trust. Trust that it is all working out greater than you could ever imagine. And so it shall be. And so I just invite you to breathe that in, that frequency, that message, that reminder. These always just serve as such a beautiful reminder, I believe, to bring us back to who we truly are. It's really easy to fall into the hypnosis of the human experience and what we've been told and bought into what it should be. But these reminders bring us back to our soul. Who knows there's more in store for us? Who knows there's limitless potentials and probabilities and possibilities? Who knows that it's deserving of all its desires? Because if you desire it, you deserve it. Remember that. If you desire it, you deserve it. You can't desire something that which couldn't be in alignment for you. As I was receiving this, the part where they were talking about, it's like, so the part where they were talking about manifestations and that they're coming. And so like many of the manifestations and things that we've asked for, if they haven't come yet, it's because they weren't suitable for the current frequency on the planet. But as we're stepping into a higher frequency of living and being, so also the way that I kind of see it is like many people receiving this and listening to this, it's like we're going to higher frequencies, but then we kind of come back down to like the whole what has been the homeostasis so that we can get a barometer of like how everyone's doing. Like, are people coming? Like, of course people are coming, but like how are others, how are our fellow brothers and sisters doing? How can we support them? And it's because if something you've asked for hasn't come, it's like it wasn't suitable for this environment, or rather it'll be so much better experience and embodied at this higher frequency. So whatever that looks like or is for you. And so I saw it as like a bank, like you've been putting money into the bank. And now in this higher frequency, it's like, oh, that's where it all was. And so it's like, oh, now I get to receive. Now I get to receive it. So just wait for like I think Abraham Hicks calls it vibrational escrow. Think of it like that. It's just at a higher vibration waiting for you. Okay. So do not fear, do not worry. It is whatever you've been asking for, it's waiting for you. Like nothing goes unheard, unfelt, unseen. Like the universe, God, source, divine knows what you want. Okay. It hears you, knows you, And so trust that you will receive it. Trust that. And then the coming back, like they were mentioning, like the slipping back down. It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. So like if there are days when you just feel like, oh my gosh, like I felt so great yesterday and today I'm just feeling so back to like human, or how my other state or the state I don't like. It's not that you're going back. It's that your soul needs to come back down so that you can truly help others, because that's what we're here to do, is to help each other and come into embodiment. But in order to truly embody the highest frequency available to us, it's often done through polarity, through seeing what we don't want. And when we know how and what others are struggling with, well, now we get to, again, it's not doing anything, it's becoming and being that. So I just loved their examples of health and wealth and relationships. It's like, if you see others struggling with that, you don't, rather than telling them, like, just go do this, show them, be the embodied expression. And by doing that, you send out the frequency of that. And it's 10 times more powerful than just telling someone to go do this, go do that, go take this, go be that, go do that to so and so. It's totally different when you just emanate and vibrate at that frequency. I was shown this very powerfully just the other day. It was in the park. I've been doing my morning meditations outside. If you haven't heard the story, I woke up a few weeks ago and I heard, there is wisdom under the tree. And I saw a tree at a park nearby. And so I took my morning meditation outside, and I have gone outside now every day since for my morning meditation. And it's been really beautiful. And so anyways, I saw this, there's this man that I've seen quite a few times, which another rabbit hole that I could go down, or a story I could tell. His dog is my cat that passed away, Moon. I'm pretty sure that Moon has been visiting me through this dog, because the dog looks and acts just like Moon did. Like, it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. So my cat, my past beloved cat, has been visiting me. And this sweet man that I've seen him a few times, not always, but I've seen him a few times at the park with my kitty, who has passed, his soul. And I don't think he's typically seen me before, because he's just playing with his dog and I'm like meditating under a tree. And the other day he saw me, and I'm psychic, you guys. Like, I can see and feel and hear other people's thoughts. And I literally saw him receiving my frequency of sitting there meditating. And he comes over and sits down beside his dog and just sits there with him in the grass, just like a few yards away from me. He wasn't facing me or anything, and he was just peacefully sitting there. And I was like, I started talking with his soul, and it was like I gave him the invitation to have that moment of presence and little meditation that he did. Did I tell him to? No. But simply by being, simply by me just embodying meditating, which I've been literally like loving doing in nature, I was emanating out that frequency. And it served as an invitation for him. And as I glanced over and I see this man sitting in the grass as well, beside his dog. It's like, this is what it's about. It's about being. It's about being what we want to see without sounding too like cliche. It's about being the change we want to see. If you want to see more peace and less war, it's not about yelling at the top of your lungs. I don't want to say it's not about that. There's always a time and a place. They're like, no, there's a time and a place. There's a time and a place for different states and vibrations. So if you're like really low, anger can actually be a great catalyst to raise your vibration. But like if you're usually vibing pretty high, like anger is going to bring you down. So it just kind of depends on where you are and where you're trying to facilitate change. All that aside, it's really just being. It's being the emanation of what you want. And like I think of like how often like I would tell like my family, like, you need to meditate, you need to do this, you need to take this. I really want you to do this so that you're healthy. And it's like, what if we just were the example for them, for our family, for our friends, for our random strangers that we see at the park? I feel like that's so much more powerful than telling someone that they need or should do something. Become it, be it, emanate it, radiate it. You have no idea the ripple effect. And like as I'm saying that, they're even showing me that, okay, this is cool. This is cool. Um, as we emanate and radiate, the earth receives that frequency. So not only does the earth heal us, because our beautiful divine mother holds us and is our healer, she is our everything. She is so important, and we can receive so much healing from the earth. But whoa, so okay. So not only are we receiving healing when we're like, I sit with my butt on the ground. So I'm like, yes, there's bugs, get some spiders crawling on me, whatever. I'm like literally being activated and I can feel it. And what they just showed me is that we are also sending that frequency into the earth. And so as we send it into the earth, it now can travel to our fellow brothers and sisters. And we have no idea what ripple effect that can have. So that's why if you're walking and you suddenly feel, maybe other people aren't as sensitive to me, but I'll be walking sometimes and I'll suddenly feel like not good or really good, or like I'll have a thought. And I'm like, where did that come from? And it's literally because what they're showing me is like we can pick up on the thoughts people have put in the ground. So that's something I've never thought of before. That's wild. So yeah, change can really happen. It's not just who you're in direct proximity with, like me and this man. It's like you can literally impact someone walking in that same spot that you held that frequency for. They're saying like literally even years later. Which makes sense to me because I mean, like you think of some of these like historic places in the world, like you can feel the vibration of these places. So that makes sense to me. So that's really cool. I had no idea. Now we know. Let's see, is there anything else I wanted to touch upon in the message? Oh, the last thing I just wanted to touch upon was the perfection in our bodies. Because I know for me, this is a big reminder for me too, is that if I'm if you're not feeling 100%, if you're not feeling like you've achieved healing yet, whatever it is for you, it's still perfect. Your body is still perfect. Um, and this is really important because as humans, our brain likes to find things to fix. And it's programmed to do that. It's an evolutionary process. Um, but in that we've also received through our brain and through society that we are something that needs to be fixed. We're not. We're not. Everything is perfect, even if you're experiencing disharmony, dis-ease, disillusions, whatever it is, your body is still perfect. And whatever it is that you're going through, it's leading and guiding you to a greater connection with your soul, with your spirit, with your source, with the universe, with God. So trust that it's literally here for you, and it will be your biggest catalyst to growth and expansion. There's nothing wrong with you. Just a part of you forgot your limitless nature, your infinite potential, and your body's trying to remind you by whatever it is that you're experiencing. So there's some people, definitely myself as well, that needed to hear that part. Because I know it can be really difficult when you're really in it. I mean, I find myself, I'll share this as well, that for me, like when I go off into nature, so this is what happens. And this is the duality that they're talking about, like the different dimensions. So last weekend, I went off into nature and like was driving, no cell service, just immersed in like thousands of trees. And it was just like in that moment, as I'm like receiving messages, I'm talking to my guides, I'm talking to my soul, I was like, there are no problems. There are no problems. Everything is perfect. Everything is perfect. And then I come back like next day. It's it's like Monday. I'm trying to get all these things done. And I'm just like, why do I feel this way? There's things wrong. Like I have this and this and this to do. Why is my body doing this? Why am I experiencing this? And I was like, wow, like this is the duality. And so why they brought this up is it's like they want us to see that we have to come back into like the very real in quotes 3D so that we can like empathize and see what the state of humanity is still at. And so for me, I was like, oh, my human is experiencing all of this like disharmonious experience now of life. But this experience I had in nature, that was actually my true essence. That everything's perfect. I don't have any problems. Everything's perfect. But when I come back and I experience these disharmonious occurrences, I'm like, oh, okay, there's still some work that needs to be done, and not work that needs to be done. Again, there's nothing to fix, but like, okay, this is what people are still struggling with. So that vibration that I experience is what I choose to continue to emanate to serve as an example and literally like grounding that into the earth, because as we all just found out, people will receive that. We don't even have to like send it to them. We don't have to do anything. Like just it's going into the earth and they will receive it. Whoever needs it, whoever's soul is desiring it will receive it. So it's about holding space for both. It's not going to be perfect all the time, and that's not the goal. It's about the embodiment and the process of learning ourselves through it all. All right, my friends. So, like I mentioned, I invite you to go and listen to the message again if you feel called, as there is so many layers of wisdom and frequencies available for you. And if you haven't already, please go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. It would really mean so much to me. And let me know you're listening over at I am Jasmine Elise. And until next time, I'm sending you all infinite love and light.